It's a postseason installment of the Orange and Blue Report presented by the UVA Health System. Yes, it is time to do a little dancing. March Madness is upon us, and alongside Jeff White, I'm Dave Koehn as we dive into the postseason action. And boy, what a weekend it was, Mr. White. Let's start with the ACC tournament. It hadn't been done in 38 years prior to 2014. Virginia wins the ACC tournament title that season. Now you fast forward, 5 tournaments later, Virginia is champion again. And I think you want to start there in some ways. Did you sense much of a different vibe this go around? You were a part of that run in 2014. How did it compare in your mind?
Yeah, I do think there was a different feeling there, both among the players and the team and the fans. I mean, in 2014, the fans desperately wanted it to happen. I'm not sure everybody was convinced it could happen until it actually did. I think there was a level of confidence, particularly among the players and the coaches this year. I mean, they put in the work in the regular season. They dominated the ACC in the regular season. I think they knew that if they played well and played up to their standard, that they would come out happy, and they did.
One thing that was constant between both of those years, the fan support, whether it was in Greensboro in 2014 or Brooklyn, New York this year, it was really neat to see Orange and Blue kind of take over another building, particularly against one of the most lauded programs historically in North Carolina on Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, the fan base has been tremendous. I think Coach Bennett makes a point after these tournaments and home games of pointing out how important that support has been to the program. It's a good team without it, but sometimes that support can push you over the edge, you know, particularly when you're tired, as teams tend to be in postseason.
Now an opportunity for those fans to see the Cavaliers in their next venue down the road, a little closer to home, with Charlotte coming up in the NCAA Tournament. So that's the challenge now, flipping the switch from the emotional high of winning that ACC tournament coming up, or I should say on Saturday, now and turning the page and moving forward. This has been a pretty business-like group all season, though. I don't suspect that'll be a problem for these guys.
No, and I'm always struck during the selection show when, you know, whichever TV network is showing that, they have scenes from around the country. You have these explosions of joy when a team hears its name called. UVA, it's very businesslike. I mean, they knew obviously they were getting in this time, but there was no jumping up and, you know, high fives. They're ready to get to work. And like you said, I think they flipped the page. It was a long night in Manhattan after coming back. It was a fairly long trip back to Charlottesville, but by Sunday night, I think they were ready to look toward the next challenge, which is the NCAA tournament.
Well, the next thing that Virginia, so we keep talking about, this team's been there, done that. This is the 3rd time the Cavaliers have owned the 1 seed or a 1 seed going into the NCAA tournament over the last 5 years. So here we go again. But Virginia, the first time, they've been the #1 overall seed. As we look at this bracket, it is an intriguing bracket for Virginia. I don't know that most fans would say, hey, this is the bracket of the #1 overall seed. There are undoubtedly some hurdles on this bracket as you look at the region for Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, I don't come away looking at this saying, boy, the committee really took care of the #1 overall seed. I don't know if that ever happens. You know, I don't look at it as closely when someone else is the #1 overall seed, but you know, you look at who's in this bracket. If Virginia plays well this weekend in Charlotte and is fortunate enough to get past, there's some pretty big name teams looming in the Sweet 16. But first things first, they open with UMBC, which is coming off a big win over a program you know well, Vermont.
Yeah, a UMBC team that broke the Catamounts' heart in that game. That is the tragedy and the joy and the bliss that comes with the postseason, particularly in single elimination. They beat a team that had beaten them twice earlier in the season, and they beat them on a 3-pointer late. So they're going to be riding a wave of high emotion as well. UMBC, who hasn't been to the NCAA tournament since 2007 as well. So this is a bunch that will be obviously hungry, but maybe not some of the tested teams that Virginia has seen in that first round over recent years, like Hampton, that's been there a number of times. It'll be new to UMBC, but they do have firepower.
Yeah, and I mean, they have a coach. There are always interesting storylines in these NCAA matchups. The obvious one in this is that UMBC's second-year coach is Ryan Odom, who's one of the sons of Dave Odom, who was an assistant coach at UVA for many years under Terry Holland, who later was head coach at Wake Forest in South Carolina. Ryan Odom spent some time as a boy in Charlottesville. He later was an assistant at Virginia Tech. So there are a lot of ties between him this program in the ACC.
Now, one of his favorite pieces to use this season has been a senior, a guy who started his career at VCU, transferred after his first season. Now he's a mainstay with UMBC, and that's Jarris Lyles, averaging better than 20 points per game and a first-team all-conference pick. So that's someone Virginia will have to keep a close eye at the guard position. So let's turn a little bit ahead. Now, coaches can't do this. We can. Next game up, if Virginia's able to win this first matchup against UMBC, that would be against the winner of Kansas State and Creighton, the 8-9 matchup. Two dangerous teams, but again, that's what you're going to get in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I mean, the 8-9 games are your classic coin flip games. I mean, it's tough to look at them and see, you know, a significant advantage for one team over the other. They've both played good schedules. Creighton's in the Big East, which has two of the top seeds in the NCAA tournament. Kansas State's in the Big 12. With Big Brother Kansas, another program you know well. So I think Creighton has been very proficient offensively under Coach Greg McDermott. His son Doug McDermott played there several years back. This team is averaging nearly 85 points a game. If UVA ends up facing Creighton, it's one of those classic contrast and styles games where something has to give, because you got the best defense in the country playing one of the better offenses in the country. Kansas State has had a couple guys out with injuries who are supposed to be back for this tournament.
Well, it is a South region that has 4 conference tournament winners out of 7. So it's going to be a pretty loaded bracket. We haven't even really talked about Arizona. We haven't really talked about Kentucky. We haven't talked about Cincinnati. That's for later. So the focus right now is on Charlotte. That's where Virginia will start this NCAA tournament. That'll be a 9:20 game, approximately the second game of that region coming up that evening on Friday night. So we hope you can join us. We'll hit the airwaves at 8:30 on the Virginia Sports Radio Network. For Jeff White, this is Dave Koehn, and thanks for stopping by.